So today we're going to go over the basics on how to put the engine and pump. First, you need to make sure that your truck's in neutral and you pull a parking brake. When you pull on scene, make sure that you're coming to a complete stop before you pull the parking brake. Like I said, make sure your truck's in neutral. Once your truck's in neutral, go ahead and pull the pump power shift to the neutral position. It should be in the middle here. Wait for about 5 seconds. Pull the lever again, drop it down. The pump and gauge light should come on. And then you'll come over to your gear selector here and you'll hit drive. And the select button should say 4. And then the monitor, which is on the bottom, should match the top to say 4. If it's not in 4th gear, you're not going to get any the drive shaft to the pump. Once these match up, the OK to pump light comes on, and that separates the drive shaft and puts all the RPMs to the pump. As you can see on the gauges up here, your RPMs went up. That's another way to tell if your truck's in pump or not. Once you hit the drive button, your RPM should raise up to roughly 700, but no more than 1,000. Okay, so once you put the engine in the pump in the cab, you got to come back here. All these different levers have different functions. This is your tank to pump lever. This is your tank fill lever. This is what gets the water to the pump. All of these need to stay closed per our shift that does maintenance. We check these every day to make sure there's no leaks or anything, and it's not loose or anything. So to get these levers down, you pull up on the handle and slowly pull down, and that brings the water in towards the pump. And then this is the tank fill valve and the pump recert valve. What that does is it fills your tank as you're hooked up, your engine's hooked up to the intake. It puts water back into your tank, and there's impellers in the pump that spin and it gets hot. So you can crack this about halfway or so, and it starts bringing water in and run it through those impellers. Once you have it this far, you hit your prime button. What that does is it gets the air out of the tank. You don't want air in the lines with the water. So you'll hit this until you hear that sound. It goes a little deeper there, you start hearing water in there. All right. Then you have number 1 and 2 discharge on the right side of your pump. Hence why there's 2 levers, 1 and 2 on the right side. And then numbers 3 and 4 are on the left side of your pump. Hence 3 and 4 is on the left side of the pump. These levers are closest to where the water is going to be coming out of or in to your pump. The top speed lay is labeled red, the bottom's labeled yellow. There's identifiers on the left and right side where the hoses are, and it tells you top or bottom. You can also look. It's the same color as the hose if you can't tell. This one is for the 2.5 discharge, which is in the back in the hose bed. And then we have a front discharge, which is up in front in the coffin box. And then this silver one is for our blitz fire, which is also in the back. This is how you get pressure on the hose line. So you pull whatever lever you need to, top, bottom speed lay, front discharge, deck gun, blitz fire, whatever. And then you hit your preset button, which is the green button. Make sure you're in pressure mode, okay? Don't be in RPM mode unless you're told to. So this does it automatically. You shouldn't have to mess with much. It's automatically in pressure mode when you put it in the pump. So hit your preset button, and it brings up to 100 PSI, okay? Which is your discharge pressure. So that shows it there. Also, here's your discharge pressure, okay? This is discharge pressure. This is intake pressure. Your intake pressure is what's coming in to the engine, the pump, okay? And this is the pressure you're flowing out of all the hose lines, okay? Just because this says it's your 1160 RPM doesn't mean it's 1,160 PSI. That's how fast the drive shaft is, okay? Right here, pump intake is -4. It's because we don't have any water coming into the tank, okay? If I had water coming into the tank, it would be in the positive. It'd be up somewhere around here. Never let this get below -10. You'll start cavitating your pump, okay? When you charge your hose line, hit your preset, bump it up to about 150 to get the kinks out of the line. 125, 150. Get the kinks out. Make sure you're communicating with your nozzle person that they're ready for that. Then when they're ready to go inside, back it back down or hit your preset button and it drops it back down. All right, so now we're going to show you how to pull the Blitzfire up. There's 2 levers. The top one makes this rotate. The bottom one here is how you actually lift it up to extend it higher. So you pull it, these 2 little teeth will come in, pull it up till it locks, okay? And then there's this lever here, it's marked, it says rotation. Pretty self-explanatory. Flip it up, and now you can move it left, right, okay? That lever is only move it left or right. So once you get it where you need it, flip it back down, and there you go. If you need to go lower than what it is right now, you can use this, but it only stops at a certain point. So now if it's locked, there's a pin right here. You pull the pin up, okay? And then you're able to go below, and then you can let go of the pin and you're still able to move this. Now once you get to a certain point, you can go all the way up. And once you get to a certain point, it locks the pin back down. So now you can only go up. Like I said, it gets locked. If you can't pull this pin up, it feels like it's locked or it's jammed, turn this to the right a little bit and get this to raise up a little bit, and then you can pull your pin up. And then once you get below where it's normally set at, you're able to let go of that pin and you can just still keep going. Always make sure this pin's locked into place before you put this down. And then to lower this back down, it's the same thing as you did pulling it up. Hang on to this top part because it's actually pretty heavy. Lift up on it again. Slide it back down. Make sure it's locked into place. So the difference between an intake and discharges, these 2 are discharges and this is an intake. The intakes are always lower than the discharges, always. So this is a 4-inch intake and these are 2 discharges here. Water comes out of these, water goes in this. It's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so the lever up on the pump panel that says front discharge is for this one right here. It's 100 foot of 1 3/4 inch. Most of the time it's for trash fires, car crashes, things like that. When you get on scene, the battalion chief or the fire chief or whoever's in command will tell you if they want this pulled, they'll say, you know, pull the trash line, pull the front jump line. That's what they mean. So like I said, it's 100 foot of 1 3/4 inch, and most of the time it's pulled on trash fires and car crashes. Okay, so this hose right here is it's called a pony section. It's 25 feet. It hooks up to your Jaffrey valve, which is this intake I was talking about earlier. If you're within 25 feet of a hydrant, the operator should get it by himself. You know, it doesn't take very long to get this. You've got 1,000 gallons on the engine, so if you're able to get it by yourself, hook a hydrant by yourself. Make sure that you're using this on your intake. There's one of these on each side. So this is the Blitzfire that I was talking about earlier. There's 150 feet of 2.5. It's pre-connected on here to this discharge, and they're matched with what is up on the pump panel. So there's labels up on the pump panel that tell you Blitzfire, deck gun, things like that. So this one's for the Blitzfire. This one is the 2.5. It's got 150 feet as well, and it's pre-connected too. So if you're going to pull a 2.5, look for the label that says 2.5, and you'll pull that one, and it'll charge this line here. And then this here is the apartment load or high-rise pack, whatever you want to call it. It's 200 feet of 2.5, and then 100 foot of 1.75 with a gated Y on it. So other than that, those are the two pre-connects. This one's not pre-connected here. This is meant for you to pull and hook to a standpipe. So.